Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another YouTube video. So I think today we've got to start with what I think is probably the biggest news of the day, and that is US Consumer Price Index. Year over year, CPI is getting released today at 8:30 over there in the US. So basically hold on to your hats for this. It's forecasted that year over year CPI is going to come in at 2.5%, which is crazy in my opinion. We've been talking about how we've not been able to get CPI down for so long, essentially, and then now all of a sudden we could have a 2.5% CPI print today. And all of a sudden we will probably go from this being positive, being able to bring inflation down, to all of a sudden being maybe worried about a growth scare. Does this add to the potential of the Fed making a 50 basis point cut on their first rate cut? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. I saw a suggestion from Andreas Larsson saying that they would potentially do 25 basis points, but then also stop QT, and that would be ultra bullish for markets. But also last night we had the debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. I haven't actually watched any of it yet, but at the back of that, the DXY did fall a little bit because it looked like, supposedly what I've seen on the internet, again I haven't watched any of it, Harris did better than expected, and I presume the markets had not taken that well. But looking at the DXY, I've been talking about this for a while. I said, specifically actually, when you look at the 4 hour, I said it was looking quite weak on the 4 hour time frame because I was basically saying that bearish divergences were happening, which is where you get lower highs in price action and higher highs in RSI. And since then, we have actually created a lower high and potentially coming back down to test the bottom of the range again for the DXY. It's all like up in the air. We're all like waiting to see what the Fed are going to do next month. Next week when they talk about their first intervening or like their first change in policy, rate change. Equities are kind of holding up pretty well. They had a big drop towards the end of last week. Let's get them the daily time frames. I can show you. They had a big drop towards the end of last week, and then since this week have actually rallied back. In my opinion, because Janet Yellen came out and basically said, I'm monitoring the stock market, and if anything bad happens, we're going to intervene. So, all that being said, that's the macro landscape for you. Basically, that things are just treading water right now. I said September would be dodgy. I didn't know what was going to happen. We could see some twists and turns in September, but then out the back of September into October, and then going into election, I think things will be pumping one way or another, whether it's through completely artificial pump or whether something happens that changes the landscape a little bit. I don't know, but that's my opinion that we're going to start to head up then. Whereas Bitcoin, for example, could head up slightly higher, slightly faster than that. That's because Bitcoin is the most reactive to liquidity conditions and also the most easy market to price in, like future things happening. And obviously, the stock market is going to be closed some of the time. Bitcoin here in my opinion, like the longer we stay in this area and we don't lose, like let's say we don't lose this low here at 54.3, then I think the bottom's in. Like I do feel like that more and more. Like we're in this area now. We've had quite a nice little bounce. People are uncertain still. All this stuff's going to happen, but price has been slowly grinding to the upside. Yes, we'll probably have a bit of a retracement back into, if we look at this structurally, maybe retrace this candle, maybe touch into this box here, stop some of these stops. People with stops out here, take some more liquidity and then continue this grind higher. That's potential. Could we come down and sweep the lows here? Maybe. Like I'm not 100% sure on that. But if we look over here at Velo and the funding rates, yesterday at one point we had, when this massive candle came in here, people were short massively here, massively short. And like I do think that, let me get the open, I haven't got open interest on, let me see, create open interest. I do think that it's interesting that how negative funding turned. That must have been during the debate. I think these times when we get areas like this, it's telling me that, like, again, we could be teeing up for the short squeeze. But what did I say yesterday over there on X? I said we could see a pullback first in Bitcoin. I targeted this area here. the 55,000 sort of area, 55,000 flat, 55.5, and said that would be an interesting place for a pullback. Let some shorts pile in. As you can see, premium is high, but again, it's basically only just positive funding. It's been negative funding for the last like 8 or 9 hours. And what I said was, if we come down to this level, we'll let shorts pile in a little bit more. So then when we grind up higher, we can again get another short squeeze and help us push out of this zone. So I don't have too much more to report on in terms of crypto. If we look at XRP basically came into the area that I thought it would. Said this was the area that I'd be targeting between 50 and 52 cent, which is between there and here. Do we continue to come down? Maybe if Bitcoin does correct a little bit further. Again, we're in the eye of the storm. We've got so many catalysts today, and expect volatility. Expect volatility. Whatever comes out of the CPI and whatever the narrative, you're going to see, in my opinion, volatility both ways before the market works itself out. But one thing I did want to touch on was XRP ETH. We want higher lows, and we actually have an equal low here. It's the first time for a while we've had an equal low, but we did set a higher high before that, so that's positive, although I would like to see XRP outperform ETH here. If we can get a break probably above this range, this short-term range that's going on, we'll probably start to hopefully then go and set a higher high against ETH. That's what I'll be looking for. If you're an XRP holder, you want to be looking for that too. At the minute, that's just an equal high right there, an equal low right here. So that's definitely something to monitor. Is the trend changing, or is this just like a pullback and we're going to continue if we break this trend here? XRP Bitcoin. Similar story. Like I did say that I think it could come into this area here and close this gap that we talked about right here. And I'll show you that gap. You can look at this for yourself on the hourly. Look, there was a little gap right there. We bounced off the top of that gap here, but we didn't actually get the closure, which would be through this box here. So guys, like I really am just on the sidelines here. I don't know exactly what is going to happen next. I'm waiting to see what the market does. I'm waiting to see what happens with CPI today. I'm waiting to see what reaction that causes in the market, but then also what counter reaction that causes by the Treasury and the Fed. All these things are going to be happening very, very soon. The election's in November, 5th of November, and we have probably a positive month running into that for markets. And we have the first change in policy or rate cut come in next week after we get CPI today, or it might even be towards the end of this week. I can't remember. Let's have a look actually. Google, we'll go for US FOMC dates. Bum, bum, bum. So we're having a look now. What are we in? 17th to 18th. So that is going to be next Tuesday is when we have the conference from the Fed. So between now and then, like, just expect the unexpected, keep on the edge of your seats, and I'll keep you updated. Let me know if you've got any questions below. Please do share with a friend if you enjoy, and go and check out our newsletter because we get in depth on what I think is coming next, and what I think is coming next is massively bullish for crypto. Peace up, A-Town down, as Crypto Insight UK would say.